Hi everybody, welcome to the March 2023 SBR exam tips. For those who are preparing for this exam, let me tell you first from question 1 onwards, you have a consolidation question. Make sure you are comfortable with all the styles the examiner can test. It could be the foreign subsidiary, you know the exchange difference as well, the cash flows, you're comfortable with all the activities. Third is all the disposals, you could sell off subsidiaries during the year. And finally, there could be some tricks with some step acquisition or net assets. Make sure you are practicing the last 4 or 5 sittings so you can see the style of consolidation. Question 2 is on ethics linked with accounting standards. The ethics bit is very critical. Make sure you write from the scenario, where in the scenario they are being objectivity is a problem, where they're being incompetent, where their behavior is an issue, with a stronger emphasis on the new ethics in a digital age article which the examiner has written. Remember section B, which is question 3 and 4, 25 marks each. Bit challenging. There are some case study questions asked here. Mix of accounting standards come up. The key bit is to be able to do the knowledge and then apply and write from the scenario. Don't just keep writing knowledge, you must write from this scenario. 1 mark per point available, so keep that in mind when you're doing that section B case study. For those who are of course wanting to know about the accounting standards, remember it's very hard to pick and choose, but make sure you are comfortable with the key standards of SBR, the revenues, the pensions, the leases and financial instruments. For the FR bit as well, those who are exempted, take special note on making sure you go through the very important impairment, PP, intangibles, held for sale and provision standard. Finally, you have some current issues also tested here. Current issues are things that are going to happen in this or going to change in this world. Remember, the sustainability bit is a big hot topic. Know about the sustainability proposed standards. What about the climate change, how that has an impact. Make sure you're comfortable with those articles that we have read in class and done. In the end, remember, it's very important you stick to your time. The exam is very time pressured, 2 minutes per mark. Don't overrun on your time and be very relaxed. It's important you're calm, you read the question carefully, keep a positive mindset and hopefully end up passing this exam. Wish you all the best. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, this is Rana and I'm here to tell you a few things before your SBL exam. First of all, when you're reading the case, you only want to read the case study once. There's a lot of information on there, and if you do get distracted, there's a possibility that you have to go back and read it again, so you're just going to be wasting time. Secondly, you have to use that scratch pad. There's just too much of information and you're bound to forget this information. So your scratch pad is your best friend. Use it. Put everything that you need onto your scratch pad. Then you have to make sure that whatever points you are making in the question, link it back to the company, right? Don't go on and write general points because that's not going to give you any marks. And finally, make sure that you always practice a few questions to time before the actual exam. It's not easy sitting there for 4 hours and doing the exam. It's also not easy coming up with points, expanding on your points. So just make sure that you're confident to do that before the exam and you'll be okay. All the best.
Hi everyone, this is Vignesh from Phoenix Financial Training, here to share some final words of advice before you walk in to the much awaited AFM examination in March 2023. So I'm going to leave you with 3 tips today that I really hope will help you in the examination. 1, focus on your core. And I know I sound like a gym instructor here, but what do I mean by focus on the core? Well, there are 4 key areas that form 80%, if not more, of the examination almost every time. Investment appraisal, business valuation, mergers, acquisitions, risk management, and cost of capital. Make sure you've done enough question practice on these areas, and that should put you in a good position in the examination. Tip number 2, keep it balanced. A common comment from the examiner has been that students either spend far too much time on the numbers or the discussion elements. You've no choice but to keep it balanced because the exam has a fairly equal proportion of discussion and numerical elements. Once you've exhausted the time on a particular question part, it may be a numerical or discussion part, you've got to move on and try to gain marks across all the question parts. My third and final tip, don't let go, don't give up easily. Some of the questions are very, very intimidating. Not all of them, but you probably have one very intimidating question, maybe a calculation you're totally stuck on. Remember, you just got to try and get bits and pieces right. It's not about getting everything perfect, but sometimes students give up too early, but you're not going to do that in your examination. I'm sure your results will be very, very positive if you go in with that attitude. Good luck.
Hello, my name is Sarah Kalani and I'm the AAA tutor at Phoenix Financial Training. And this video, I'm just telling you the tips for the March 2023 exam. So number one is structure. So we've talked about this so much during tuition and during revision. When you are writing your answer, the best tip, the most important tip, guys, is you need to structure your answer really, really well. We kind of know the requirements that are coming. We kind of know the questions that are coming. So the scenario is going to be different. So it's really important to structure an answer in a proper way. So for example, in an audit risk question, you need to look at the issue, compare it to materiality, talk about the accounting standard, what is really the problem, the risk, and then the impact on the financial statements. So this, of course, is going to apply to all of the three questions of the exam. So your structure is key. Number two is quality versus quantity. Now, we know that the AAA exam is really time-constrained exam. So it's not about writing 20 pages or 30 pages or even being able to answering 100% of everything. It's about the quality. I have seen so many students who write so much but don't actually get marks for what they're writing. So it's about the quality. Answer the requirement, address what the examiner is looking for, link it to the scenario. Which takes me to our third tip, linking to the scenario and being able to make your answer special. So, and this is basically going to help you also get your professional marks. So linking the answer to the scenario, to the story, what's happening to the company, why is this report this, why is this risk, did this happen in the company? So linking it to the scenario and making sure that your answer is unique to other questions. It's very important to practice a lot of questions. It's very important to look at a lot of scenarios, but your answer needs to relate to the question that you get in the exam. So follow these three tips, guys, and practice as much as you can, and hopefully you're going to do great in the exam.
Hello everyone, this is Vignesh from Phoenix here to share some tips as you're preparing for the upcoming March 2023 APM examination. I'm going to leave you with three tips. I summarize this through an acronym AIR, A-I-R. So my first tip that you need to watch out for in every question you do in the exam is apply, apply, apply. The key to success in APM is using scenario information. Any point you make, you've got to pick up facts from the question to back up what you're saying, give adequate examples. This is key to ensuring you're writing enough. Sometimes you have a 12-mark question and you have 4 major points to make. Now, how do you get 13 marks from 4 points? It's about giving adequate examples, applying and using scenario information. The second thing that you need to do, what does the I stand for? Industry relevance. Make sure when you're reading the question, you put yourself in the position of an employee of the company. Appreciate the industry. Think about, visualize and think about, we're in an airline company. So think about the dynamics of that. Often the examiner does give you enough background to be able to get into that virtual world, into that world where you're thinking about you working for that company. That will help you produce much better answers. The third tip, probably the most important one, requirement. Focus on the requirement. You will all be aware by now that APM has embedded requirements. The requirements are hidden within the paragraph. So it's very easy to miss out elements. It's very easy to misinterpret. Take that extra minute or two to go into each requirement, pick up what's asked, and then start answering the specific requirement. Maybe it's also worthwhile going back midway through your answer just to check up, are you on track? So I do hope your preparation is totally on track and wish you all the very best.